Hey guys, it's TGM here, and if you're like me, you will want to hit level 70, unlock all heroic dungeons and get attuned to Karazhan as fast as possible when TBC launches. Today I'm going to walk you through the most efficient way to do exactly that, so you can have the most productive weekend of your life in Outland. There are 3 main ways to level in the Burning Crusade: questing, mob grinding and dungeon farming. If you're leveling during the launch weekend, questing is by far the worst option. A huge number of players take time off work and completely no-life the launch, which means questing zones are going to be packed, objectives will be heavily contested, and server lag is almost guaranteed.
Oh, that's a big boy, isn't he?
Mob grinding can work if you're geared and playing solo, but you'll miss out on reputation and dungeon quests, both of which are mandatory for heroic keys and the Karazhan attunement. If your goal is to hit level 70 quickly with minimal frustration while also unlocking heroics, finishing your Karazhan attunement and picking up some early pre-raid gear, then dungeon farming is by far the best option. The credit for this route goes to Biospark TV guide and the leveling spreadsheet created by Myro. Starting at level 60, you'll be farming Blood Furnace until 61. Hellfire Ramparts is another option, but Blood Furnace provides more experience and reputation, which makes it better. You will need around 12 clears to reach level 61 and Honored. From 61 to about 65, move into either Slave Pens or Underbog. Slave Pens is generally the better choice because of higher experience and reputation gains, though Underbog has a quicker exit if you prefer faster resets. Once you reach level 65, switch over to Mana Tombs and farm it until level 66. This will give you Consortium reputation, and while Consortium doesn't have a heroic key tied to it, the faction still offers valuable rewards and access to a monthly gem cache, making it worthwhile. Once you hit level 66, you'll want to farm Setek holes around 8 times. This dungeon is important because it gives you the key to Shadow Labyrinth, which is required for the Karazhan attunement. The key is found in a chest behind the final boss, so make sure you grab it before moving on. After finishing the Setek holes farm, it's time to start the Karazhan attunement. Head over to Karazhan and pick up the quest chain from Archmage Alturus. You'll have to complete a few quests around Karazhan, then travel to Dalaran and eventually meet Khadgar in Shatrak City. From there, the quest chain will send you to Shadow Labyrinth, Steam Vault and Alcatraz to collect 3 key fragments, but we'll take care of those later. The next stop is the Caverns of Time, where you'll get attuned to Black Morass and earn the Key of Time, which is required for the Caverns of Time heroics. Follow the Custodian of Time questline, complete Old Hillsbred foothills once, and then farm Black Morass around 6 to 7 times until you reach Revered with Keepers of Time. After that, head back to the Shadow Labyrinth, where the first key fragment is found behind the final boss. You should stay here and farm it around 6 times until you've reached Revered with the lower city. Once that's done, move on to the Steam Vault. The second key fragment is located underwater inside the dungeon, and just like before, you'll want to stay here until you reach Revered Reputation with Coalfang Reservoir, which will take roughly 7 clears. At this point, because Alcatraz requires flying, we'll pause the Karazhan attunement and focus on Shattered Halls. To enter Shattered Halls, you'll need a key, though only one person in the group actually needs it. Head to the Shadowmoon Valley and kill Smith Gorlung, who drops the primed key mold. The quest will require 4 Fell Iron Bars, 2 Arcane Dust and 4 Motes of Fire, and the Fell River Kill in Hellfire Peninsula. Once completed, you can enter Shatter Halls and you should farm it all the way to Revered with Honor Hold if Alliance or Trollmore if Horde, which takes roughly 8 clears. By now, you should be level 70, so it's time to pick up your flying mount in Shadowmoon Valley. If you're Alliance, head over to the Wildhammer Stronghold, and for the Horde, go to the Shadowmoon Village. With flying unlocked, we can finish the Karazhan attunement. The final step begins in Area 52 in Netherstorm. Follow the quest chain until Adal asks you to retrieve the top and bottom shards of the Alcatraz key. This requires 1 run of the Botanica and 1 run of the Mechanar. Once those are completed, you'll gain access to the Alcatraz, where the final key fragment is located in the first room on the second floor, just after climbing the large ramp. You can continue farming Alcatraz until you reach Revered with the Shatar, which gives you the fifth and final heroic key. At the end of this route, you're level 70, fully attuned to Karazhan, and have access to every heroic dungeon in the game. On top of that, you've picked up several dungeon upgrades along the way, putting you in a perfect position to start farming heroics for your pre-raid best in slot gear. There are a few other important things you should know. First, never clear dungeons faster than 12 minutes, so you don't risk going over the 5 dungeons per hour cap. We take you 40 or Naxxrama's gear, plus consumables. You can sometimes finish a dungeon too quickly, so keep an eye on your clear times. Always aim for full dungeon clears to maximize both experience and reputation gains. To make dungeon farming smoother and more efficient, you should be using consumables like flasks and food buffs. Also, you should know that as you level up, your chance to hit enemies decreases, so hit rating becomes one of the most valuable stats, especially for dealing consistent damage. Staying hit capped, or at least as close as possible, will noticeably speed up your runs. Once you hit level 61 and start heading into Slave Pens, make sure you first go to Shatrak City and set your Hearthstone there. There are no class trainers in Outland, and Shatrak is by far the most convenient hub, so having your Hearthstone set there will save you a lot of time. Before this, you'll need to complete the City of Light quest from Khadgar, which also requires you to choose between the Aldors and the Scryers. Both Shattered Halls and Alcatraz can be opened by a rogue with 350 lockpicking or by players from other groups. However, completing the questline and having the key for yourself is more convenient in the long run. If you don't have a group of players to play with, check your server Discord for players forming parties, so you'll have a group ready when TBC launches. And finally, don't worry too much about skipping questing at the start, since quests reward more gold at max level. And that's everything for the Burning Crusade launch week leveling guide. Thanks a lot for watching, and if you found this guide helpful, feel free to like the video, leave a comment and subscribe. Let me know what other Burning Crusade Classic content you'd like to see next, and I'll see you in Outland.